Hello, everyone, or should I say, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. And so, this is my homework for week 2. I'm going to read the question and then I'm going to answer the question. The first question is, what is your greatest takeaway from Bob Hotchkiss regarding governance and structure from the live lecture or the book? And I'd have to say that what struck me the most was this word that I had never heard of this word whatsoever, which is the word fiduciary. So in the book, page 83, he writes, sometimes when I'm asked, what is the board's job? Someone, frequently a lawyer or a banker, uses an obscure word that speaks rather deeply to the nature of the board's role. The board is a fiduciary. What might a fiduciary be? Many people connect this word exclusively with money, but the concept actually is much broader. A fiduciary is anyone whose duty is to act in faithfulness to the interests of another or at the cost or peril to himself and I also or herself. So for me, this was the biggest takeaway because, again, as someone who I don't see myself as like refined, and that's fine for me. But this word relates to something that I know a great deal of, which is trust and faith, right? So both these words mean a great deal to me as it relates to my former career in law enforcement, being in the military, and also SWAT. So I get the idea of being a fiduciary. So that was a big takeaway for me. And again, I'm in this particular program because I lack administration skills compared to creative skills that I've gained over the last 10 years as an independent, non-denomination church planter. So that was the biggest takeaway for me. Next question, board-centered, community-centered, or congregational centered, what works best? In my opinion, I'm first going to assume that each one of these different components is literally is good. And so the board-centered is good, the committee-centered is good, and the congregation-centered is good. I would argue that what's the best out of these, which, interesting, goes back to the word fiduciary. For me, I think the board-centered approach is the best because it's at that level, in my opinion, where people have power, and I describe power as the means to do something, and they also have authority, and authority is the right to do something. So most boards have the ability to say yay and nay and to vote on things that impact the mission statement. So if you have the ability to impact the mission statement, that's a great deal of power and authority in a good way. I don't see committees having that type of power and authority. They may have the power and authority to spend money in their budget. They may have power and authority to bring in new volunteers. But the idea of literally shifting the organization, right, or in my old terminology, being able to shift the boat would be a little different. So I think the board approach is different, or is best. What is the role of the congregation versus what is the role of the board? I think the congregation should and gets to vote on board members. The congregation gets to vote to who gets to lead ministry, and the church gets to participate in the life of the church. The board, on the other hand, are trusted fiduciaries that get elected so that they can then do the work of moving forward the mission and the vision. And so for me, the role of the board is to consistently make sure that the mission and vision is consistently being followed and being able to vote yay and nay, and then also dealing with issues of, do we increase money or decrease money, not how to spend money within the particular different committees and organizations. How do I feel about the structure of the organization that I presently lead? So my situation is a little unique because I was brought to Living Spirit the first year as an associate pastor so I could learn the culture, and then also spending a year working in this program to get some administration skills up to par. And then I'm going to be stepping into the senior pastor role next year when the senior pastor leaves. I think, number one, we are a board-centered approach. We are a church that's led by the board. I also think that the board is stuck and stifled based upon old cultural norms. And because it's this top-down type of paradigm, everything underneath is also stuck. And then with COVID-19 not making things any better, I think that the church has a great deal of money, so it's got money that is saved for rainy days. But as for real growth and real potential, it's not going to do so until we kind of unstick the gears at the board level. That's my homework. Have a good evening. Take care. Peace.